Indirect, indirect. What it do, y'all? It's the Honorable June's not a Bantu or a Jew, but a El Capulan kidnap that's ready for the get back. And welcome back to the Redeem or Destroy podcast, where we deal with facts over beliefs and awakening the minds of the kidnapped worldwide. Tonight, guys, we're talking about a fake rule, a loud rule, a street slogan. You know what it is. No snitching. But then I open my phone and I see everybody snitching every day, all day on the internet. So let me ask it plain. If the street says no snitching, why everybody is exposing each other online? Why everybody's posting receipts, everybody's tagging people's jobs, everybody is dropping names, address, you name it, they're claiming it. Why is that? Why is everybody doing story time like it's a courtroom? Hmm? And guess what? And because of you exposing somebody to get them embarrassed, right? Or to get them fired, to get them locked up, to make them look shameful, to take away their street cred, to take away their hard work, whoever they claim to be. What is that? What do you call that? You know what? That's called snitching with Wi Fi. This is telling. Oh, man. This is telling with a ring light. This is dry snitching with a playlist. And tonight I'm going to break this down in ways a child can understand because grown people are acting like children online. Chat, type in yes if you expose if exposing online is snitching. Type no if you think it's different and tell me why. Please leave it in the comment. The first thing, before we even proceed, I would like to let you know that this broadcast is sponsored and brought to you by Life Coach on the Go LLC. For those that don't know, I am a certified life coach. My job is to uplift, to guide, and have brothers and sisters win the ultimate championship, and that is life in itself. Okay? So, with that being said, please leave a message. Follow me on all social media platforms. You can reach me on the DM on the ROD podcast, or you can reach me at JPL at Life Coach on the Go LLC.com. Okay? Now, back to the regular programming. Where do we begin? First, we have to define words because people hide behind the words. Snitching is what? Giving information to get somebody in trouble. That's what snitching is. It's more than just talking to the authorities. That's what they want you to believe. But snitching is really telling on somebody to get somebody in trouble, to have people look at this individual in a different way, side eye, you understand? Making an individual no longer want to associate themselves with that person. That's what snitching do. Okay? Some people only call it snitching when you talk to police. That's cool. That's one version. But the streets also know another version. It's called putting somebody on blast. It's called putting heat on somebody. It's called bringing attention to somebody. If you give info to a person who will punish them, you are still telling. Police can punish, a boss can punish, a landlord can punish, a mob could punish, a gang member could punish, a family member could punish. Huh? So if you drop information online, for example, One of the main reasons why I decided to do this broadcast was I'm seeing a lot of so-called street niggas come on social media and always trying to expose somebody that they were supposedly cool with, somebody that was a family member, that was a best friend. It doesn't matter if it's rap, it doesn't matter if it's entertainment, as far as like movie stars, TV personnels, or just regular so-called gangsters. Everybody is on this social media telling on each other, right? And you know the internet will punish them, right? When they receive this information. You know their street credibility can be shattered. Their internet credibility can be shattered. You know that. But yet, you guys still do the nonsense. The only difference is you're using the crowd. Instead of running to the police, instead of taking the stand, you run into the people. Okay? Instead of the cops, instead of the judge, you're running to the people. That's why it's called snitching, because the goal is the same. It's trouble, punishment, or complete damage of character, image, etc. That is called snitching. Okay? Now let's talk about the word people love, exposing. They say, I'm not snitching, I'm just exposing. What are you exposing? Okay, exposing what? And for what reason? Because exposing someone can mean two things. One, it can be accountability. That means you confronted a person, you correct a person, you handle it, you kept it tight, you kept it clean, you protect the people. Then you got two, it can be for clout. It can be for revenge. It can be for hate. It can be for jealousy. It can be even for a setup. And most of the time online, it's never about accountability. It's performance. It's a show. They don't want the correction. They want attention. They want the likes. They want the applause. They want the mob. They want to be the next incoming Tasha K. All you gangsters, all you so-called tough guys are literally giving applications to the world to become the next Tasha K. I mean, me personally, I really don't understand what the heck is going on behind that. You guys come on these social media platforms to expose people that you done broke bread with. The man that slept at your house, you slept at his house. You guys, had nothing. You probably had more than he did, than she did. And when the times and when things hit the fan and you guys get into a little disagreement, you want to throw all the beans outside. You want to say things like, man, he was never a gangster. He never sold drugs. He never did this. He never did that. And it's like, bro, I thought that was your man's. I thought that was somebody you had love for. Why would you want to destroy his character? Damn, did he violate your moms or something? Did he violate you to the point of no return? I seen something yesterday, guys, where Max B's brother came out saying, yeah, man, I'm about to come out and I'm about to expose Max B, etc., etc. I'm like, why are you going to expose him for? The man is out. The man has the opportunity to take care of your family that you abandoned to be in jail. He has the opportunity to do that. Wouldn't you want to be in good graces to make sure that your child has an opportunity to be somebody in life? To not be another statistic because you already a statistic. You already fell for the bait. Wouldn't you want your child to have an opportunity to be around celebrities? Maybe the celebrities could invest into his music career, invest into his basketball career, invest into his college, invest into his doctorate, go to school to be a doctor, a lawyer, a plumber, electrician, etc. But because the man got out and he didn't stay 10 toes down, sometimes people, listen, sometimes Somebody got to be the sacrificial lamb. If me and my man's committed a crime, let me just give you a scenario, right? If me and my man's committed a crime, and my man's is a celebrity, right? So we know it's a high possibility that the judge is going to be more lenient towards him than me, right? We did the crime. He gets hit with an offer, and the offer is, well, we'll take 3 years, 4 years, 5 years off your sentence if you say that such and such did that, right? They just say the objective is to say I did that, right? Now, we all know how the court system works, right? If the man is getting ready to take the stand or getting ready to give a statement, whatever it may be, that comes to you too. The lawyer has to disclose that to you. The next thing is having a conversation. It's like, yo, bro, I see that you're trying to get out early, bro. I'll take the extra how many years, but just make sure you take care of my child. Take care of my ways. Take care of whatever I need you to take care of. Just do good by that. And if that man say, yo, bro, I got you, the man's word is his bond. And guess what? If he doesn't keep his end of the bargain, the streets will handle him. The universe will handle him. Their ancestors will handle him. You see, the thing that bothers me with today's society is we do the crime, but we cry about doing the time. We would do the crime, but we cry about doing the time. My man, you got to do the time, pimpin'. Somebody got to take the fall, bro. Both of us can't be down. That means that's how many mouths is not being fed. If you have the opportunity to get out and take care of everyone, take care of the whole family, go ahead, bro. Go ahead. But that's not what people want nowadays. Everybody wants to be the next Alpo. Everybody wants 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes worth of fame. And guess what? It's only 20 minutes. As high as you can go is as fast you can fall. And when you are in jail, it's very unlikely for you to keep that same momentum. The reason why people were so invested in Alpo was so invested in because the whole world knew the life he lived outside of his incarceration. The movie Paid in Full, played by Cameron, shed a beautiful light on this man's life. So now people are going to be intrigued. But some of you guys are just regular Joe Blows, regular scums, people that was doing nothing in life, you understand, and got caught up and now sitting in the can. My man, you got to sit in the can, pimpin'. You got to sit in the can. This seeking likes and want to seek attention, that's feminine bottom behavior. I'm just being honest with you guys. That is bottom behavior. You're like a woman that needs to be seen, that needs to be touched and praised. That's weird, bro. You can't be a king in jail, pimping. You can't. Right? And sometimes and one of the major issues, and I did a broadcast and I gotta edit it and upload it, and it's called accountability and honesty is the only policy that shall save the melanin society. Accountability is something that Black people are so afraid of. Honesty is something that Black people, and I don't want to say Black people. We're not saying Black no more. We're not saying Black on this podcast no more. We're saying melanated. Melanated people cannot stand the word accountability. Melanated people despise the word honesty. Just look at the things that we do. Men putting on fake hair, women putting on weave, women putting on makeup, dudes paying for their abs, paying for their chest. Like nobody is honest. Everybody is living a secreted life. And it's like, how you expect us to elevate to the next level when we can't even get that together? But accountability is about fixing a problem. And we all know we have a problem. But we rather expose other people for clout, just to break a person, just to make that person feel below, just to interrupt this man's finances, this man's livelihood. What are we doing? What are we doing? Now we got a new thing in the culture. It's a new disease, and I call it clout snitching. Clout snitching is when when you claim you got some street codes, but you don't, because you won't call the police, but you're gonna call the internet. You're gonna gather everybody around. Hey, Instagram. Hey, Facebook. Hey, social media. Look, come around. I got something to tell you. You won't testify, but you're gonna tag the employer. You're gonna tag somebody, anybody you're gonna tag, like, yo, bro, come, let me holler at you for a minute. Look, guys, let me tell you how Max B is a snitch, or let me tell you how this person is not as real as you think that he is. All that stuff that you see that he's talking about is all caps. But when you was on his side, it was all facts. So now you're gonna expose your man. Why? Because you got a level of disagreement. Did that man put his hands on you? Did he put his hands on your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your child? What happened to the street code? What happened to what happens in the street stays in the streets? But it seems like nowadays everything is making its way on the internet. Everything is making its way on the internet. Everybody is telling. You're gonna have females exposing her baby daddy. I'm like, damn, you're gonna expose your baby father? This is the man that you allow to ejaculate inside you, and you carried his child for 9 months, and now you're going to expose him because of what? Because he don't want to be in your life, he don't want to be with you, so you're going to expose him. You're gonna tell the whole world how evil and wicked your baby mother is. That's your baby mom's. You know what you was getting yourself into. What are we doing? People go on Facebook. Some people nowadays, people strictly direct. Back in the days, there'll be submittables. Like they'll say, oh, they'll throw a little jab, but you will have to be in the know to be like, oh, you coming at me. Now people don't care. Yo, Shawana up the block. She done sucked the entire community. Oh, really? Oh, wow. Yeah. Unfollow her. She's this, she's that. This is us. Whatever happened to what goes on in the house stays in the house. What goes in your bedroom stay in the bedroom. I don't need to know. Listen, guys. I don't need to know that your man likes getting plugged in. I don't need to know that. I don't need to know that you like to lick top, but I don't need to know that. That's not for the world, for us to hear, no see. Nobody cares for that. Now, the only time information of exposing somebody is valid is when it's pertaining to children, or when you're dealing with the same sex. These are when stuff needs to be exposed. You know why? Because these dudes are promoting a different lifestyle. You can't say, yo, man, I love my women, but then in behind closed doors, you're diggling and dabbling with Scooby-Doo. You can't be with Scooby-Doo and think that I ain't gonna be what's that dude name? What's the dude that walks with Scooby-Doo? I don't know from the top of my head. But you can't be a Scooby-Doo thinking that I'm not gonna supposed to, like, nah, bro, son is a fish. Stuff like that needs to be exposed. When you're going against the universe, it needs to be exposed. But if you're exposing homie for being broke, for wearing fake jewelry, for not having no money, for not having no cars, that's real cowardly. That's real cowardly, shameful, and corny. That's not real. That's not. And then these are those same ones claiming to be a gangster. And the first thing that you're gonna hear them say is, I'm a real nigga. Real niggas don't do that. Real niggas don't come on platforms to disrespect somebody's street credibility, knowing that you knew all along that he was not this street nigga, but yeah, here you all rolling with him 3, 4, 5, 6 years. They got dudes coming out and be like, yeah, man, I was his manager for 10 years. So for 10 years, you knew what was going on. And now, why? Because he done kicked you out of the circle. So the 10 years building with that man doesn't justify you being kicked out of the circle for 20 minutes. You only been kicked out for 20 minutes. You don't even know what 3 years from now may hold. 3 years, a year from now, 2 years from now, he might forgive you. You might forgive him. You might cross paths and be like, yo, bro, my bad. I was just going through it. You know we suffer from PTSS, right? Post-traumatic slave syndrome, right? You know our emotions is all over the place, right? You know, a lot of us was raised with a single mother. So the female tendencies is in a lot of us men. You know that, right? You know that. You know that. But you the same ones that be like, nah, bro, I didn't do no paperwork. I don't do no paperwork. I don't talk. I don't take the stand. I'm not an informant. But you on social media uploading screenshots. I got the receipts. Where you think all that information goes to? It goes to the same people that you refuse to talk to. And these people will use that as evidence. That's what the feds use to take the entire organization down. They don't have to you don't have to put wires and tap your phones. Everything is connected to the grid. Every social media is run and overseen by the 3 lettermen, CIA, FBI, whoever. Go ahead and disrespect the president and see if these niggas won't come knocking at your door to check the temperature. My man's just came out on Instagram and said that, yo, why Secret Service just came and knocked on my door over something that I said on TikTok. These people watch everything. So when you uploading screenshots, what are you doing? You're snitching. You won't call it snitching because they told you that's not snitching. They told you it's exposing. Guess what? Exposing falls under the umbrella of snitching. Then you're gonna come on and tell the whole story on live. Then you're waiting for the phone calls. You're waiting for somebody to say, bring, bring, bring. Yo, we would love for you to come on the platform and talk about this. And here they go. Come on this platform and talk about it. Now, like I said, if you're going to expose these individuals for dealing with underage children, you have to bring that out. If you're going to expose these individuals dealing with the same sex, you have to bring that out. But the other minute stuff, we don't need to hear about that. I can care less about how many females he was laying in bed with, what he liked. I can care less of him putting his hands on a woman because you was there. You ain't do nothing. You telling us what you think we gonna do, huh? These dudes come on. Check this out, guys. These people come on the lives. They come on the live. They got the names. They got the dates. They got the place. They call it proof. They say, hey, I'm not telling. I'm just keeping it real. I'm just keeping it real. That's telling. That's snitching. It's just the modern way of doing it. And the reason, and guess what? And the reason people do it is because the internet pays people with attention. That's like I said, a lot of these dudes got female tendencies. You're seeking attention. Attention is the new currency now. You know, You want the likes, you want the shares, you want the comments, you want the views, you want the invites to the shows, you want to sit down, you want to get close to the rappers, you want to get close to the entertainers, you want to get close to the basketball players, and you think you doing that is the way to do so. So people now is trading morals for attention, guys. We're trading morals for attentions. We're trading this so-called street code for attentions. Like I told you guys, there's no honor amongst thieves. There's had never been any street code. All of that is a myth. It's a lie. There's no street code. Never been. Never been. And this is for all you young bucks that want to play these streets. Listen, man, you're better off being a civilian, though. Being a gangster is money. You got to watch your back. It be the same man that give you a hug, roll up a blunt, go to the club, bag the same girls, go shopping, dress the same, act the same, wear the same pendant jewelry, will take the stand and tell on your ass. Okay? So people is trading morals for attention. This is what's happening in real time in 2025 as we make a transition to 26. And this is not just my opinion. Okay, I don't want people to like, oh, Jules, he out here, he right, man. You don't know what you're talking about. No, we can see how normal online harassment is. The P research found 41% of US adults say that they have personally experienced online harassment. When you expose and you put in stuff and you talking about somebody, that's online harassment. If somebody was to talk about me, I can go on YouTube right now and flag that person's page. And when they ask me why, well, he was talking about me. And they're going to research it. They're going to look into it. And once they see that you mentioned my name and I felt offended behind that, it can be flagged. And that is half of the country people's doing it now. So when you expose, you are throwing a person into a world that already attacks people like it's normal. Okay? Now let's talk about this new receipt culture. Everybody got receipts now. Oh, I got the receipts. Receipt culture is when people treat private life like evidence, text messages, DMs, calls, screenshots, old photos, voice notes, and they post it like a prosecutor. But here is what they don't say. Receipts can be edited. Receipt can be missing in context. Receipt can be selective. Receipt can also be bait. And last but not least, receipts also can be used against you in the court of law. A person that can be investigating somebody for 5 years couldn't find nothing, but that one receipt was all they were searching for, and now they got it. Now there's a RICO case. Not only is there a RICO case, but now they're taking down the whole operation. And you might also be taken in, but you probably gonna be the one that's gonna spill everything because they're gonna say, yo, we got these receipts from you. We'll cut you a deal. We're giving everybody 30, we'll give you 15. We'll give you 10. We'll give you 10, and with good behavior, you could get out in 5. That's what they gave Max B. Right? Think about it. And even when it's real, posting it can still be wrong because all it's doing is creating danger. Right? So who's really real? Some people get hurt behind exposures, careers. People lose their jobs. People lose their fortunes. People lose their fans, their followings because of an exposure from somebody that person really thought was a friend, really thought was a family. They got this Carissa Shields' cousin on Tasha K exposing this girl. I'm like, first of all, I thought blood was thicker than water. But I guess the overflow of liquid equity will always override the blood. And when you ask her why, they never give you a subtle reason. It's always, yo, I'm just tired of her hurting people. When she did it the first time, why you ain't check it? You wait for people to start losing their job. You wait for people to lose their house. You like, are you doing that so they can step down from the limelight and be right in the hood with you? Oh, I get it. I get it, guys. This is what's gonna happen. This is what's gonna happen, right? These people's gonna get exposed, and then after they get exposed and they come back to the hood, the person that did all the exposing can always laugh and say, aha, that's why you had it all, but look where you at now. You right here with me. I get it. The PTSS is real, people. Post-traumatic slave syndrome is real, people. Our people could never see our fellow comrades be better than them. Family members don't want to see that. The family members will only see that and accept that as long as you providing them with gifts, cars, paying bills, bringing them on trips. Basically, as long as you accept it and comfortable with being extorted by family members, everything is all good. But guess what? The minute you say no, the minute you say, nah, I ain't doing that. Oh, I'm about to expose your ass. And then the person who posted, they say, this is what they say. I didn't want to do it, man. Yes, you did. You threw the rock and then you hid your hand. This is what they do. Yo, I ain't want to expose it. Yo, I reached out to the brother 3-4 times, man. I ain't had no choice, man. You know what I'm saying? I ain't had no choice. We all got choices. There's so much things me and my son B.O. did. There's things that I disagree. There's things that he done that piss me off. There's times when me and him don't speak for months. But when push come to shove, that's my bro. Yo, now I don't know what you talking about. Even when they talk bad about my son, I'm like, yeah, yeah. I'm like, yo, bro, that at the end of the day, what you saying is it's not gonna make me look at my man any other way. That's my man. It's like our history overshadows anything that he done negative to you. And even if he done negative shit to me, our history, what we've been through, will always overshadow our disagreements. If he tells me today, yo, Junes, I'm just not rocking with you no more, son. Don't call me, don't do nothing. I gotta eat that. I'm not gonna take it upon myself to go on the internet and be like, yeah, you see, yeah. So since he did that, yo, F that. I'm just gonna spill everything. That's not real. It's not gangster. That's not street like. You guys are claiming to be street niggas. Some of you niggas ain't never been outside, bro. Y'all talk a good one, but y'all really never been outside. Because if you was outside, you will understand certain codes never to break. True word. My phone just went off. Certain codes, certain things to never say. I would never talk street activities, what me and my son did in the streets. And even if I incriminate myself, that's on me. I would never say who was with me, how was with me, where we went, what we was doing. If I give you guys a story, it's gonna be a very, encrypted story. You understand? But that's a story that I'm talking about me. This is my life story. I'm never gonna expose somebody. Oh yeah, so my son such and such, he was a dirtbag. He wasn't really this. He wasn't really that. I'm never going to do that. Because if you knew that he was never that and you still roll with him, that means you accepted the fact that he was never that. So why now all of a sudden you want to sell the world on something that you already accepted? You came into terms. I have a lot of friends, close friends, that just aren't street niggas. And because they're not street niggas, I don't expect them to ever get caught up doing street activities. I had one dude, let me give you guys a quick testimony. I had one dude, and this is when I was in my loc days, crazy loking and all of that. I was thought I was Mr. Untouchable Crip. You feel me? And I used to have things on me that drew attention to me, like whether it was Crip, blood, folk, whoever, I did things to draw attention to me. Now, I had a friend, and my friend wasn't into the streets, just wasn't in it. And I knew that. And one time we was walking, and it was it was a couple of dudes walking, walking towards my path. And they a few words was said, nothing crazy, but the lions was gonna always see who's a lion and who's a chihuahua. So when they seen that I roared back, it was like, oh, all right, all right, all right, all right. But my man's who was with me, who's not into the streets, you understand, who's not into that, seen that and fell back tremendously. Now, at that time, I was like, yo, what's up, bro? You good? But then when at the spare of the moment, you like, yo, bro, what's up with you, man? You with me? Even though you're not into the streets, if we walking together, pause, I got your six, you got mine. You feel me? Like I got your back, you got mine. That's just how we move, period. But not everybody was brought up like that. You know what I'm saying? And after 40 to 50 minutes, maybe an hour go by, I came to the realization, I was like, yo, I can't get mad at my son. My son is not into this street stuff. My son is not in gang activity. He's not claiming no set. He's not into that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's not a fighter. Like, he'll fight if he has to. That's anybody. Anybody will fight if they have to, but not everybody's into that. And I realized that. I understood that. And I told him, I said, yo, bro, it's so good. You know what I'm saying? Because, he seen it on my face, like, yo, what's up with you? You feel me? But he seen it on my face, and we had a conversation, and we was cool. And then the next day, came back to the block and all that. We was chilling like nothing never happened. But I say all that to say, not everybody's meant to be into that lifestyle, right? But let's just say this same person that I'm talking about is nice and rapping, and he blows up. And the image that needs him to get to that level of making more money is the street credibility. And he comes to me and says, yo, bro, I wanna claim that I'm Crip and all this, and I need you to hold me down. And my job as your man is like, yeah, no doubt. But if we fall out, let's just say we fall out, I'm not going to come on social media and be like, yeah, man, he was never a real one. I'm the one that held him down. I'm the solid one. I was the gangster. I was this. I was that. And it's like, yo, bro, for real? For real? You a gangster, you the solid one, but you out here telling? That's not how we move. That's not how we move. That's not what real people do. And nobody is checking these niggas. Nobody is checking them. Now we need to say a word, a word people fear, and that's doxxing. Doxxing is when somebody exposes information about you, public or private, to cause harm. That's how the Electronic Frontier Foundation explains it. Okay? So if you post a person's name, their address, their job location, their phone number, their family info, you're putting them in danger. That's not exposing. That is harassment. That's a digital hit. That is snitching. You're telling. And that's why I keep saying exposing online is snitching, because you're handling people like target, and you're trying to get people in trouble. You're trying to sabotage an individual. You're trying to destroy an individual. That is telling. You are snitching in a social media courtroom. Snitching is taking a stand in a courthouse. Exposing is taking a stand or sitting in a car, whether you in front of a mic, in front of a camera, on a chair, standing up, is literally exposing somebody on the internet. That's what that is. Snitching on the internet. That's what exposing is. Now let's talk about the public shaming. Public shaming, guys, is when a crowd punishes a person in public. Online, it spreads fast. One post, then 10 pages reposted. Then blogs pick it up. Then comments turn into threats. And here's something important, guys. Scholars have studied how social media design can shape public shaming. A Cambridge Journal article in America Political Science Review argues that the structure of platforms can make public shaming more harmful and chaotic depending on how the network works. Meaning, the platform can turn calling somebody out into a runaway train. So when you expose somebody online, you're not controlling the punishment anymore. You are releasing a dog you can't call back. Okay? Now let's talk about this street code that everybody is claiming. Listen, this street code fell apart. There's no street code. We are now in the era of 6ix9ine. We call this the 6ix9ine era, where everybody is a rat. Everybody's telling. You got rappers that's literally still holding a rap career, talking guns, drugs, alcohol, women, and literally got documentations of them snitching. Now, me personally, I don't care. I don't care. I am a civilian. I don't care what you do in the streets. What you done in the streets, they harm me. They harm my family. They harm my community. It ain't harm my niggas. I can care less on what you're doing in the streets. If you make great music, if you are a great actor, you got all my support. The only time you will miss me and you will not get $1 or anything from me is when we find out that you're dealing with underage children or you're dealing with the same sex. That's the only way you and I can have no type of communication, business whatsoever, is when those things are thrown out there. But as far as what you do in the streets, I can care less, bro. It doesn't bother me. If you're making good music, for example, everybody said Gunna was telling. Gunna did not tell. They asked a question, he gave an answer. But there's not a single young artist right now in 2025. That man been winning since about 2023. There's not an artist right now in 2025, from 2023 till now, has made better music than that man. That man has made great music. You can ask anybody around me. The Gunna gets played a lot in my house. In fact, Gunna gets played before I even start the live. He sets the mood for me. I'll be like this. Then I start the live and then I'm ready to go. Okay? So back to the street code. The street code comes from fear. It comes from survival. It comes from the trauma, the mental illness known as post-traumatic slave syndrome. It comes from living in places where people didn't trust the system. Post-traumatic slave syndrome. Okay? The psychologicalists, I can't say it, psychologicalists, Eli Anderson wrote about the code of the streets and how it grows when people feel civil law is weak in their lives. Some people made it their own code, their own rules, their own type of punishment. But today, a lot of people saying the street code they don't live street codes. Okay? A lot of people that saying they stand by the streets does not follow it. They live on the internet code. The internet code says clout first, your feelings first, your revenge first, and anything else, it is what it is. So the old street slogan is being used like a costume, but people put it on when it sounds tough, then take it off when they want to destroy somebody. That's another level of hypocrisy. Now I'm going to tell you the part that they don't want to hear. A lot of exposure is not about justice. It's about control. It's about humiliation. Some people can't fight you fair, so they fight your reputation. They fight for your job. They fight for your relationship. They fight and disrespect your last name. Okay? That's what you call weak. That's how cowards work. That's how losers, have nots, jealous individuals work. And also, it is dangerous work because once you start normalizing exposure, anybody can get exposed, even me. Okay? And if you think that is safe, no, it's not. You just haven't been targeted yet. Okay? So what is the solution? We need a new code, a real code. And this is the code. Private correction first. Direct talk first. Real boundaries first. Keep whatever you got going on between you and your homie, you and your shorty, you and your man, you and your husband, you and your wife. Leave that shit in your house, bro. Listen, I'm so adamant. I don't even want family members knowing what's going on within the house. I don't even when I get issues with the Wiz, I don't even tell my mom. You know why? Because it's none of her business. I don't need nobody's perspective to alter how I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, and what I want to do. I don't need nobody looking at the person that you with a side eye. You know what's the worst thing? I find it, I find it going on a lot in the melanated community. You know what I hate? I hate when, you know, let's just say a girl calls her best friend and she's dogging her baby father, her husband, dogging him. Oh, he's this, he's that. Oh, I can't. And then 2 weeks later, that same person she was dogging is with her at the family barbecue, at the best friend's birthday party, and then it just looks awkward. It just looks awkward, and it's like, this is what I mean. Keep your shit in closed doors, bro. Even if you don't know, even if you and that person are no longer together, keep that shit in closed doors. Like, I don't want to hear none of that. Like, me personally, I can care less. Unless I ask, I don't want to hear it. I can care less. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to know what you and your best friend went through. I don't want to know that. I don't want to know that. That's an experience between y'all two. You keep that, you take it with you to the grave. Me and you at odds. I don't need your friend looking at me with a side eye. Your friend needs to look at me the same way she looks at you, the same way he looks at you. Nobody needs to know nothing about anything. What goes on in your house, let it stay in your house, bro. The only time, like I said, you touching little boys, you touching children, you're dealing with the same sex, or if you are a woman beater, if you putting your hands on women, or your woman is out here, dealing with Tom, Dick, and Harry, that's the only time, you should let somebody know. Because you will need the resources in separating yourself from that relationship. Other than that, bro, nobody cares about that. Okay? Let's go back to, if somebody did you wrong, talk to them. Give them a call. Have a conversation. And if it goes left, just knuckle up. Fight. Somebody get put to sleep, or somebody hold their ground. Both of them hold their ground, and then get over it. And if it's real serious, handle it accordingly. Handle it with proper steps. And if the person is harming others and you have to warn people, then warn people without doxxing. Okay? Without dropping locations, without sending a mob of people. That's the difference between protecting people and clout snitching. Protecting people is careful. Clout snitching is loud. Protecting people is about safety. Clout snitching is about ego. It's about the 15 minutes of fame. It's about going to Tasha K's table, whining the winos, wine in chat, sip some wine in chat. Let her ask you questions. And like, oh, really? Like, for example, I'm going to give you guys an example. There was an episode on Tasha K, and I don't watch Shorty, but she is the gossip queen right now. Nobody can deny that. She is the gossip queen. She is the Oprah Winfrey of gossip when it comes to YouTube and all that. She got that. You can't deny that. That is her lane, hands down. But I seen something where this dude was going to, he was exposing Will Smith. Now, I'm not gonna play the video of the man exposing Will Smith. We don't need no strikes, no nothing, right? Because YouTube not playing no more, right? But the man got on and was like, "Yeah, man, I walked in and I seen Will Smith getting dumped by Gina from Martin's ex-husband." And I'm saying to myself, why do you think? Matter of fact, no. That was a bad example because I just told you if a man is dealing with the same, you know what, that needs to be told. That's a bad example. All right, let me give you this example. I'm gonna give you this example right here. So there was a battle rapper, right? And this battle rapper is from Philly. And no, it's not the Easy to Block Captain and all that. It's another black battle rapper. I'm not gonna shed light on it. But basically, one of his close associates decided to come on YouTube and expose the brother for who he really is. Now, again, anything that's not dealing with children, anything that's not dealing with, same sex, I can care less. But in this one, the man came out and said, "Yo, such and such wasn't who you think he is. He really was broke. I had to, it was my money that was doing this and it was doing that. It's us, etc., etc." And I'm sitting here and I'm like, so why are you exposing this man? Oh, he did something in Cali. He cut me off because I was still cool with somebody and he wanted me to cut him off. So because of that, we stopped communicating, and I felt like it's time to let the world know who this man really is. So I'm like, damn. So you've been around this man for roughly over 10 years. And within that 10 years, you telling me you didn't build that much respect for that man for you to just gracefully bow out. You know why? Because everybody wants to be the next it factor. Because this same man was like, yeah, man, I was in the videos. I'm not into this music stuff. I'm not into this rap. I could care less. If you could care less, then why made the YouTube? If you could care less, then why take the interview? If you could care less, you do care. You want to be seen. You want to get booked. You want to get flown out like a female. I'm telling you. This is female tendency, bro. Female tendency. This is female tendency. But before I continue, once again, this episode is powered and brought to you by Life Coach on the Go LLC, where the goal is to coach you into becoming a physical and spiritual champion and remain undefeated. Okay? Now, I'm going to open the floor for anybody that got something to say. Let me make sure. Oh. What? Best viewers, streambot.com, remove the space. What's up, my guy? Oh, there's nothing, nobody got anything to say? Well, okay. But, okay. But you guys can't tell me what I'm saying not to be true. You guys can't tell me, nah, bro, you don't know what you're talking about. You guys can't tell me that. We're living in we're living in the era of 6ix9ine. This is the 6ix9ine era, where snitching is acceptable, where snitching is allowed, where snitching is necessary, where snitching, exposing is literally the new foundation of the black and brown, the melanated community. This is facts. We run around looking forward and telling on our people. And we have to get up out of that. Please, guys, find another outlet, bro. We don't need, listen, and this goes for everybody. I don't care if you are a rapper. I don't care if you was a trapper. I don't care what you are. We do not need any more stories of what you guys was doing in the streets. The people called the 3-letter-men will use that against you in the court of law. Keep whatever you was doing with whoever you was doing it with. Honor and respect your DNA. Respect your DNA. Now I got a question for all you guys. Have you ever seen somebody say no snitching, then run online and expose somebody? Have you? All these rappers. Have you ever seen somebody post receipts and the story was missing context? And let's keep it 100. Have you ever done it your damn self? If you did, what did you get out of it? Did it fix anything? Or did it just create more problems and hate? So in closing, guys, if you live by a code, then live by it. If you live by a code, then live by it. If you are a civilian, you continue being a civilian. You do civilian shit. If you're living by the street code, even though there's no code in the streets, these codes that you made up in your mind, in your settings, in your gang, whoever, you have to stand on it. If you do the crime, you must do the time. If you are a civilian, you are allowed inside the building. That's it. Okay? So let's stop acting tough. Let's stop acting like you real. You can't be all of that if you're taking the stand and you're telling on people. And when I mean taking the stand, I'm talking about like taking the stand, standing, putting your phone on a stand, on a kickstand, whatever, taking the stand and you're telling on your people. Exposing can be a weapon. So if you use it, you better make sure you're not becoming the thing you claim to hate. Because snitching is not only talking to police, snitching is giving info to bring trouble. And the internet brings trouble. You understand? Faster than anything you can imagine. You understand? And with that being said, guys, it's your brother man from the motherland. I came to you guys live from the NY. And yo, matter of fact, real quick, I want to address this. If I don't get this off my chest, I wouldn't be Junes. I want to address this. Now, for those that know, right? For those that know me, you guys know that once upon a time, I believed that I was a so-called Hebrew Israelite, right? And not only did I believe that, I taught it. I stood by it. I was willing to live and die for it, right? And from there, I I came into, well, at least I thought I came into another understanding that the actual story literally originated and took place in Africa. And when I say the actual story, I'm talking about the Bible, right? And as I'm reading and trying to understand, as I'm reading and trying to understand what was being done in the Bible, I learned other things as far as the origin of such religion. Now, one thing that I realized about this, this religious space is when you're not in agreement of what people believe in and what people see, you get insulted, or they say things that will trigger and make you feel some type of way. And for me, coming from that space, I understand it very, very well. And the reason why I'm saying all of this is when I came into the understanding of where the Bible originated from, you guys notice that in every writing of the Bible, whether it's the New Testament or Old, they never give you a direct author of who wrote it, because we all know that Matthews didn't write the Biblos. We all know that John didn't write the scripture of John. We know that all of these things came hundreds or even thousands of years after Christ was unalive, right? Now, for myself, knowing these things, my objective was to denounce every aspect of it. And I'm not denouncing it because it, is not valid, right? I denounced it because of the origin of it and what is it doing to our people now, right? And because of that, I say things that offend, that it may seem offensive, but it's not offensive. These are the facts, because this religion, this religious umbrella has made society, or should I say the community of religious followers, very, very soft and weak. And the facts is sometimes harsh. And harshness is something that we need as melanated people. It's something that we need to elevate. And when I say elevate, to break free from the shackles. Because whether you see it or not, whether you believe it or not, the facts is the facts. But in all reality, this religion has kept us in bondage. It has prevented brothers and sisters from connecting to anything spiritual. You ever notice that nobody has moved mountains, nobody has healed anything? And if none of these things are being done, then you got to question what you're believing in. The reality is this, and I know I'm all over the place, but I'm trying to be as respectful and honest as possible. The reality is this: you can never ridicule a man because a man don't want to believe what you believe in. You can never ridicule a man with evidence, with information that you can't prove. You can never ridicule a man that stands on business, right? Now, for me, I want you guys to understand that I am pro melanated, bro. I spent over 13 years, 13, 14 years. My daughter will be 13. Let's just say 14, 15 years. I spent 14, 15 years trying to find out how the heck did we as melanated people get into these circumstances. And I went through every door: Islam, Judaism, Pan-Africanism. I went through everything. And nothing stood out to me more than the Biblos at the time, because that was the only source that I have read that gave an explanation into why we were slave, right? It makes sense where somebody will tell you, look, bro, you ain't keep the commandments. That's why you was put in captivity. It makes more sense than you're saying, well, a bunch of people just came into your land and just tied y'all up and just stripped your hair and made you serve, right? It makes more sense. It makes more logical sense where you can adapt and accept the fact that you was enslaved. Like, yeah, bro, damn, this is the reason why we was in captivity. But when you start going down the archives, you start to find out that the story of Deuteronomy was purposely added, it was instructed by King James. Yes, King James was instructed by King James to put that in there, because he and when I mean he and the European powers, Great Britain to be exact, was going to put Negroes on ships and ship them away. And that precept was a justification for them being taken, shipped, and sent away. That was what Deuteronomy was written about to do. Some of you guys be like, yo, so how you prove that? I'm gonna have, when I go into the archives, I'm gonna pull it out for you and I'm gonna show you. But when you read Deuteronomy, you'll see that Deuteronomy goes side by side with the book of Exodus. Same commandments, same laws, same, Moses spoke to the people. Find that similar. For the exception of the interaction with the Egyptians. Facts. Right? So when you see that these things was interjected, and then you come to the understanding that also the commandments came into Africa. It wasn't practiced. You see, when they first came with the New Testament. The New Testament was what was introduced to the Africans in, let's just say, 1400s. Prior to that, there was no understanding of anything Christianity, right? Cool, no problem. And the concept of Judaism came into South Africa intentionally by a guy named Albert Christian. I tell you guys this all the time. Go look up Albert Christian. He was a protege of William S. Crowdy. Albert Christian and William S. Crowdy was both Freemasons. Both came from Philadelphia. Yes, Philadelphia. He was sent to South Africa to bring forth the ideology. Now, we're talking 1896. Slavery is still at its peak. Jim Crow laws is still at its peak. A black man was able to get on a plane and go to South Africa. Who funded that trip? Huh? The reason why I'm saying all of this, because I want you guys to get a foundation and an understanding. So not only was the trip funded, he went out there with a sole purpose. The purpose was to introduce this Hebrew ideology to the South Africans. You understand? So the ideology was then, the man was there from 1896, 92, 96 to 1905. That's roughly 7 to 8 or maybe 9 years in this location. By 1906, '07, 1907, there was a huge migration of Sephardic Khazars that made their way there. Question is, why didn't they come prior to that? You know why? Because they had to make sure that the people were spiritually detached before they came. Because listen, it's like it's like this. I make a game, right? I make a video game. I program it and everything. All you got to do now is plug this game inside your system, take the controller, and now you have control over the game that I've created. That's the purpose for William. That was the purpose for William S. Crowdy, protege Albert Christian. That was his mission. And then not only that was his mission. Oh, yo, mom! Shout out to my man Cal. Cal, I'm gonna be with you. I'll be with you in a minute. Let me land this plane. Let me land this plane. Now, not only did he damn, Cal, you made me lose my train of thought. Well, not only did he come and bring forth this ideology, right? He created the game. And these people came right after and they started controlling it. It was easy for them to start putting up their churches. It was easy for them to start naming areas. Like, we're going to name this Jerusalem. We're going to name this area right here Mount Sinai. It was going to be easy for the people to embrace that because they was being programmed for 7 to 8 to 9 years of being re-indoctrinated with the philosophy. And while the people started accepting it, embracing it, and honoring it, they was losing themselves. They was losing their culture. They was losing their land. Like I tell you, it's bigger than what you guys think it is. This is what you call a spiritual attack, bro. They gave you a spirit. They told you that you got to be in the spirit. Nah, pimping. You got to be in control of your soul. Your soul is what's connected to the solar universe. I keep saying this all the time. I don't know why people is not understanding that. Your soul is connected to the solar universe. When you die, your soul goes back to the soil. It's not a coincidence. What's under your feet? The soul's on your feet. So much things that we doing here in America that we are not supposed to be doing, that you guys seen as nasty. For example, walking barefoot. Your foot, you are one with the earth. You supposed to be walking barefoot. That's part of the reason why our longevity on this place is shot. If you see the longevity of others in the third world countries, people in the third world countries is living to be 106, 112, 113. There's people right now that's 150 years old. You're not going to know that because they're not in tune with society. These people really do exist. They don't drink alcohol. They don't smoke weed. They don't do nothing. They don't eat processed food. They don't care for that. They're still hunting. They're still living deep in the woods. They're still sleeping on the floor. They're still taking rainforest showers. These things are really for real, guys. So when these people Oh, what's up, my guy? Hold on. Let me see what you said. Yeah. See, Cal already know. So Cal, you already know anything that I'm telling you. You know you can find this for yourself. You know I ain't here to mislead anybody. I'm not here to lead anybody astray. You just got to do your homework and see it for yourself. These things are right in front of you. But when you're blinded by a belief story, when you're blinded by a fairy tale, you're literally gonna be in a fairy tale phase. When you start breaking yourself and you start asking questions, you start saying, hold on, this don't make sense. Hold on, where does this come from? Hold on, hold on, hold on. When you start saying so much hold ons, things gotta start their ancestors will start revealing things to you. So when Albert Christian came and dropped the ideology, he already made the disc. These people just came and started just operating with the controller. And why you allowing them to take this, name that? Oh, yeah, this is Mount Sinai. Oh, this is Jerusalem. Oh, this is that. This is. Why are you doing all of that? They got you so focused, so glued into your book by the time you open your eyes. They done changed the name. They done took over the mines. They done took over the precious land, named it after themselves. They got places in that area called Victoria Land, Johannesburg. What the heck is that? That is nothing. That has nothing to do with African language, heritage, ideology, nothing, cosmology, nothing. And when they seen that the guys and the people was waking up, they then created apartheid. They created apartheid, which means that you can't partake in this conquering. Europeans came and they flooded the entire South Africa, bro. These niggas run everything. Look up right now. Look up right now. Look up right now as we speak. Nobody is talking about what Donald Trump did to the people in Nigeria. Nobody's talking about that. Nobody is talking about a terrorist attack that took place on the land of the melanated. Nobody's talking about that. Nobody's talking about the fact that he did that, and then just weeks prior, he said that he was bringing his own army to the Congo with their own equipment because they're sick and tired of what they've seen on the internet of all the black people crying about this and that. They're going to get a whole machine and have the whole machine dig up everything. And guess what? The president of the Congo, the prime minister, whoever he is going to be in complete agreement. Because if he don't, they already got both sides of the field to take the individual out. You know how the game go. You don't understand what's going on. You don't understand that one of the core reasons why the blacks, the colored people, the melanated people all over the world has elevated is because of religion. Religion is the reason why we are in spiritual prison. Religion is the reason why we still are in prison. Religion. The same brothers, that is fighting me, proving that they are this and proving that the Bible is the word of God. These same brothers couldn't even give you a 10-minute understanding of anything African, anything indigenous, whether it's you in America, the Caribbean, whether you are in Europe, whatever. These people can't give you a 10-minute documentation, resources of anything that their ancestors did. That's intentional. So when you guys are complaining about wanting freedom and wanting this and wanting that, What freedom are you getting if you guys are not even walking in the ways of your ancestors? You're walking in the ways of the shackles. You're walking in the ways of the shackles. You're not walking in the ways of freedom. You're not walking in the ways of freedom. You guys are walking in the ways of imprisonment. And you're upholding the warden's story. And you're fighting anybody that don't want to be controlled by the warden anymore. I'm sorry. We're not doing that no more. I'm sorry. 2026 is the year for us as individuals to take back our soul. And I say all that to say, my soul is not for sale. And if you're following this awakening and you down with this channel and you down with this awakening and you're willing to stand for this progress, you know that your soul is not for sale. Take back your soul. When you take back your soul, you will take back the solar universe. And when you take back the solar universe, the soil will be on your side. Mother Nature will not be your enemy, but your mother and your ancestors and your creators will make sure that we all rise together. I don't come here to fight with y'all. I come here to release y'all, redeem y'all, redeem or destroy. Remember that. And always remember, guys, respect your DNA. I'm going to gracefully bow out. Shout out to my son, Cal. Cal, appreciate you, bro. Listen, I'm telling you this from now. If you still here, every day, especially when the new year starts. When the new year starts, bro, every day, bro, 9:30, 10 o'clock, we online. You my moderator. I'm gonna get my other moderators to come back on. We're gonna make a splash for 2026, man. Got a lot of things in the works. We're gonna really be out here, really putting in our work to awaken and literally, you understand, start putting our foots on this religious next. Like, I'm really gonna go hard. Like, I've been telling you guys this, and I've been chilling. I've been dealing with a lot of personal things, trying to get everything in order. But things is in order now. You know what I'm saying? It's in order. Like, there's no holds bars no more. And I'm doing this for y'all. The time is now. We need to separate ourselves. We're up against a machine that's more powerful. Like I said, these people just bombed our land. You know what I'm saying? Like, they've been dropping bombs on black people, and it's like literally just thrown under the bus. Like, oh yeah, there was evil, and I'm tired of that. And the only way we're gonna gain our strength back, yes, we need the physical things, but we also need the spiritual strength as well. We gotta follow the ways of the Ayesians and the Tahinos, man. We gotta follow the ways of Ayiti, man. When I speak to Mama Love and I read the diaries, you know what I'm saying? The first thing that they had to establish was the spiritual side. We are not spiritually divine, spiritually one with the universe. We got to get back to that. And once we are able to get back to that, that's when we're going to gain back our independence, our freedom. But one thing for certain, and I'm going to say this, I'm going to gracefully bow out. Listen to me when I say this. When that starts and we gain back what we needed to gain back, and this goes for all my melanated people, you must finish the job. I repeat, finish the job.